Hey everyone, I'm rather incoherent, and this is Dim Carcosa, the final scenario to the path to Carcosa. Before we talk about all the rules in this scenario, let's talk about the investigator decks that we're bringing into the finale of Carcosa. Lily's deck is finally complete. This upgrade of Brand of Gothaga from 1 to 3 right here is where I start bells and whistles on Lily. This is the deck that I wanted as my final complete deck, and anything past this, like Overpower level 2 or whatever, would just be nice to have, so I don't really care about them. I've replaced my Azure Flames with an actually usable good spell that I can use alongside my weapons when I'm tapping my Foot Discipline, and I've added a backpack over the emergency cache to increase consistency. I know she's been alarmingly consistent so far, but I've been having really high positive variance for that. The backpack is necessary to consistently draw weapons, and it's a lot more justifiable with rosaries and bandoliers and survival knives on top of the hammers. When it comes to Jenny, I want to mention that I've tested decks in Dim Carcosa a lot. I use it to test final deck builds to see if they actually function the way I envision them to before I start playing a campaign with that goal in mind. I've never tested a deck with 101 experience. I've never even tested one with 70. This is outrageous. I would never have imagined the Green Man Medallion gives you this much experience. I don't actually even think I'm making the deck better by replacing my Faustian Bargains with Ace in the Hole and Gold Pocket Watch. Like, they're obviously great cards, but Faustian Bargain just makes sure I get online faster, and the deck is so broken because it costs 100 experience that once I'm online, I don't need Ace in the Hole and Gold Pocket Watch to do broken shit. The main reason I've done this isn't because I think it's improving the deck, it's because I wanted my deck to cost over 100 experience because it's hilarious. Another Day, Another Dollar is actually an upgrade, it just gives me more starting resources, but Ace in the Hole is a fast action that gives me 3 actions this turn. A lot of the time, this is just going to be deep knowledge that doesn't have any penalty, because I'm going to be using it to set up more than anything. Once I'm set up, I have 7 actions a turn. How much more will 3 actions a turn actually matter? The Gold Pocket Watch looks like a complicated card, but in reality, it's 8 experience, 2 resources to skip the Mythos phase once per game. Which is insane, but, like, again, not a thing I feel actually improves the deck. I just want to come online faster, and these don't really help with that. However, having a deck that costs over 100 experience, to me, is a worthwhile reason to pick these cards. I feel like Path to Carcosa has to be an outlier, and you probably don't get this much experience in most campaigns. I had 3 scenarios where I got 6, 7, and 8 experience respectively, which is insane. And I could have had a 4th where I got 10 if I wanted to do it. I was just fed up with the Green Man Medallion during scenario 3, I think it was. Whichever scenario the library was. Anyway, let's get into Carcosa. Let's take these final decks for one last ride. I'm going to be remembering that I heeded the warning this time and not constantly saying the name of the Tattered King. There's also one lingering effect added by the Return to. The King cannot be reduced to less than 4 health unless an investigator knows the secret. The first agenda is Agenda 1A, Madness Coils. Its flavor text is sadly just a quote, but you cannot kill the king, and if there's at least 6 damage on him, advance the agenda. Act 1A and Lost Carcosa. You have opened the path to Carcosa in order to stop those who wish to free him from his prison in the stars. Only you can put an end to this madness. And once we have 4 clues, we must immediately advance. Now there are a couple of things that are going to happen during setup as well. First, the Man in the Pallid Mask is going to be set aside, and next we're going to take half our sanity as horror rounded up at the start of the scenario. Carcosa is a scenario about madness. The sanity damage dealt by the encounter deck is pretty severe, and there are a lot of encounter cards that make you suffer greater penalties for having high sanity damage. But in the bottom here, you're lucky. During this scenario, investigators aren't defeated when they have horror on them equal to or greater than their sanity. The bad news is that life will be a living hell when you are at that sanity, and you probably don't want that. Additionally, this is the payoff for Chasing the Stranger. You add a Doom to your agenda deck when you start, based on how many times you've chased him. And since I've chased him 9 or more times, I add no Doom, whereas if you've barely ever found him, you'd be adding 3 Doom to the start and seriously decreasing the amount of time you have to play the scenario. There are 2 more bits of setup worth mentioning. First, my Act 2 is different depending on how much doubt and conviction I have, and I have the Act 2 that's going to get this version of the Lord of Carcosa. Second, you'll notice the map already has all its locations clue side up, and I have copies of those locations set aside as well. The backs of these locations have text on them. We're going to be flipping them over and replacing them throughout the scenario. You'll see more of that when we get there. So let's do our upkeep phase. Double opening hands. Excuse me? Oh, I see. That's what I would have been doing every time I grab the wrong card. I'll move down to grab it and then hit my hand overlay thing. Okay. I finally understand it. Decorated Skull from turn 1 probably does a lot of work in this scenario. It's going to devour a lot of souls. I think I will keep Decorated Skull. I'm going to toss Green Man Medallion and Switchblade for sure. Deep Knowledge I'll hold on to. And we get Intel Report Emergency Cache. That's actually pretty good. For Lily, we're going to toss all of this. The only thing I'm considering holding is Safeguard 2, but that's only a brief consideration. We're going to toss all of this, digging for Backpack and Cyclopean Hammer. That is so many weaknesses. I think that's almost all the weaknesses in our deck. We didn't hit that, but we did at least hit Stand Together. Hopefully that can find us something. Otherwise, we'll use Prepare for the Worst action 1. Speaking of, I believe it's our turn, and Ginny rather, has no black markets, so Lily is going to go first. I'm going to play Stand Together level 2. We both gain 2 resources, draw 2 cards. Drawing the sign is not what Lily, or Ginny rather, wanted to say. Lily gets Cyclopean Hammer, nice. I'm going to play that for almost all of my money. And that means I don't ever need to play this Prepared for the Worst, and I can just play Emergency Cache instead. Gain 3 resources, draw a card. And that's not fully set up, but that's set up enough. Lily is fully online, and I don't have much to worry about. On Ginny's turn, unfortunately, I think I just played double and get rid of drawing the sign. This seems wrong, but I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to play Decorated Skull instead of double. And the reason I'm doing that is because I can just play double next turn. It'll be fine. But getting Decorated Skull out now could potentially help unjank me later by absorbing souls earlier. And I'm going to need to play the Decorated Skull out of my hand because odds are I'm playing Deep Knowledge next turn and I need to vomit cards out of my hand just to avoid discarding. Anyways, Upkeep Phase, another Brother Xavier, and Intel Reports. The Intel Reports are nice. We don't need them for a while, but once we do, they'll be very, very helpful. Top of the round, 1 of 7 Doom, and counter cards. I don't know if I shuffled the deck. I'm going to shuffle it now, just in case. So, Realm of Madness is a fucking brutal card. It is the main punish for having high sanity. It's not other cards, in my opinion, it's this. Having to discard from play in hand your horror damage and value is so rough. If I didn't, I just lose these Intel Reports. They're just gone. And I'm fine with that. I'm going to cycle my deck and get them back, and it's not going to be a big deal that they're gone right now. But that is such a brutal card, and it could be very, very bad for you very easily. Over here, we're testing Brain 3, and we'll take 2 damage if we fail. I'll throw a Guts at that. I'm sorry, it's briefly wondered to myself if there was a test here and this wasn't taken or something, or if it's really that brutal, and yeah, it's just insanely brutal. Anyway, 6 to 3. -5. I'll take the 2 damage, I guess. Okay. Ginny's going to go next. She's going to play double as her first action. Then she's going to tap it to play Emergency Cache twice. I'm going to play Lola this turn, I think. And then next turn, Deep Knowledge twice. Yeah, I'm just going to vomit this stuff out of my hand. Spend 4 resources to get all that in play. Switchblade is fast. On Lily, I'm going to flip my Head Discipline to heal 3 horror at the cost of 1 damage. Then I'm going to gain 1 resource and play Ever Vigilant for all my resources to play Brother Xavier, Tetsuo Mori, and Holy Rosary. Now, it might look like in the finale you expect me to be going faster than this, and I generally would like to be. I would like to have Safeguard in play right now. I would like to have more actions doing stuff as Ginny. I'd always like to be going faster. But it's worth noting that this scenario is much like the theater. It's going to get very out of hand very quickly after a certain point. And as a result, setting up really thoroughly at the start isn't actually a bad thing at all. It's going to make the scenario a lot easier for us once that difficult period comes. Anyway, Upkeep Phase. Gias is great. And Accursed Follower. Is he farthest location? Yep. He's going to be throwing cursed tokens in the bag. We should deal with that. Anyway, top of the round, 2 of 7 Doom, evil cards. Spawn of Ali, it's a 4/4/2 monster, Prey Most Horror and Retaliate. And if you do try to evade it, but you brick it, or not even brick it, you succeed by 2 or less, you take 1 horror. Hits for 1, 2, and that 2 horror is a lot. And a fanatic. I'm debating if I want to put the fanatic with us or somewhere else. I'm going to throw him at the top of the map and deal with him later. That seems like the better plan. On our turn, I'm going to engage with the spawn of Hali, and I'm going to attack it twice. Flip this back over, apparently. It takes 3 damage from the first one. Or 32. I mean, it's dead. You're getting ahead of yourself, though. -5 is still easily hitting it, because Lily is just absolutely bonkers. Get it out of here. Oh, that curse token shouldn't have even been in the bag. I just forgot to remove it. Well, it's gone now. First action for Jenny. I'm playing Deep Knowledge and putting that curse token back in the bag. Alright, we're online. I played double-double on my hot streak and gained 14 resources going up to 27. Then I spend 3 of them playing the Black Fan, getting me my next action. And I use that action to play Gias. As always, I'm making the promise that I'm not going to be committing skills during my turn. To iterate more on why getting clues right now isn't important, my goal right now is to get 4 clues, which will progress me to the next act where I can't discover clues. And once I progress past Act 2, the game's going to get very hard. So getting clues early isn't relevant at all. Doesn't do anything. I just want to set up. Anyway, on to the upkeep phase. Easy mark is nice. Brand of Gathaga is nice. 3 of 7 Doom. Don't forget to add your curse token because of your weakness enemy. And if you have 1 or more hidden cards, I don't. I would take 1 horror, so it just has Surge. Oh, I got my hidden card now. If I didn't perform at least 1 play action, all right, this is probably never getting out of my hand, because I'm going to be playing stuff all the time. That's sort of what Jenny does. And Lily got Possession Torturous. If you have horror on you greater than twice your sanity, you are immediately eliminated and killed. And you can spend resources to get rid of it, but really, that's not the solution. You try to avoid having that much horror on you. You know, I should have doubled my Deep Knowledge onto Lily, because Lily still doesn't have Safeguard, and she needs that to follow me around. I'm going to start my turn by playing Easy Mark, I think. Don't have anything else to do with my time. There's a Stubborn Detective here. Still going to double my Easy Mark in front of him, because that's not an action, so it doesn't trigger him. And with Black Market, I now have everything I need to fully come online. Next turn, I'll be playing Black Market. Might double it, might not. Don't know yet. And then we're going to have all of our cards in play and be doing crazy Jenny Barnes things. Anyway, we should probably stab this man. We're stabbing right now at 3, 4, 5, 7 to 3. But we get rid of 2 curse tokens. But we do miss. Anyway, we're going to stab again. And he's dead. For our last action, I think I'm just going to draw 1. Have I played a card this round? Yeah, Easy Marks. Good. Going to draw a card. Cool, wrenching the plans. Let's get over to the far side of the map. As Lily, I'm just going to move 3 times and get ready to deal with this shit. Jenny can obviously handle herself if she gets an enemy. I've got to go deal with the Sacrificial Beast. The other things weren't high priorities, but it definitely is. Enemy phase, we add a curse token and nothing else. Upkeep phase. Money Talks and Brand of Gathaga don't really mean much. 4 of 7 Doom. We get another Fanatic. He has to spawn with Jenny. It's the only 4 clue location for him to go to. And another evil card for Lily. Hers is, if she didn't draw, she's going to have to take 1/1. So it sounds like she's going to have to take 1/1. I'm going to move into this location as Jenny. And then I'm going to swing twice. First at the Accursed Follower. No, first it's Sacrificial Beast, because it just absolutely positively has to die, except no substitutes. Skull is -2, thank God that kills it. Otherwise, she would be taking an uncomfortable amount of damage. And I'll swing again at the Accursed Follower, -2, it's dead as well. We will, however, be engaged with and taking damage from this Fanatic, but that's fine. Jenny is also going to need to do a little bit of stabbing. She's swinging at 7 to 3. I was supposed to Black Market this turn. I guess let's play Black Market now and have forgotten about it. Every single time, even at the end of the campaign, I'm still getting Black Market wrong. Do I want to double this? It's kind of just Leo DeLuca, right? I can just take Leo, the pocket watch, and double the hot streak. And there's a good chance that I don't even have enough actions to like play everything anyway, because I'm going to miss stabs. I'm not going to double this, but I want to. It's very unlikely I lose more than 2 actions this thing, and then I'll play Leo and have 2 actions left. No, doubling that would be pointless. I'm going to stab this man at 7-3. That kills him. Very nice. We get his clue. Then we're going to play this Leo for 5. And we're going to double this hot streak for 14, going up to 39. And last action, we'll play the golden pocket watch for 2. Next up is the enemy phase. We get hit for 1 damage over here on Lily. I'll put it on Lily, that's fine. I'd rather save the soak for Jenny in case Jenny gets into an alarming spot, because Lily's able to heal herself using her disciplines. And upkeep phase. Second Cyclopean Hammer is irrelevant, but it can hang out in the hand for now. Alright, we have some really high level Mythos deck negation. We just need to draw cards that we actually want to negate. Did I play cards? Definitely. It's pretty much all I did. 5 of 7 Doom and evil cards. Sign of not gonna say it. Going on the act. Actually, it's going on the agenda. The act might progress in 2 turns. The agenda definitely will. And Lily's is Brain 3 test. For each point I fail by, I have to lose 2 resources, take a horror, or get -2 to a skill test. I'm already up 3. These effects aren't that bad. I'm just going to take the test. Get out of here. Okay, relatively soft Mythos phase. Actually, like, incredibly soft Mythos phase. I'm not happy that Lily and Ginny are cross-map, but it is neat that they function when they're not glued together at the hip. I'm going to go first on Lily. I'm going to swing my hammer at this man. That draws another, and if I fail, I take a horror, but he's dead. Why would I ever fail? And I think next I just draw cards. I'll put Flame of Cthugha, or Brand of Cthugha, into play, because it helps me deal burst damage. And rather than drawing cards, I'm going to flip my discipline now and heal for 3. Because I need to do that eventually, and this one's gated by time, unlike drawing cards. For Jenny, though, these cards go back into her deck, and her deck's looking a little bit ragged at the moment. A part of me just wants to run across the map to Lily, but that's obviously wrong. I'm going to draw a card as my first 2 actions. I haven't hit read this. Oh wait, I did hit read the signs. It was the very first thing I did was hit drawing the signs before I even took an action. So I am safe to double an emergency cash this late into the turn. With double and deep knowledge in my hand, I think I play the red clock because I'm pretty much guaranteed to have Eldritch Sophist out by the time that it's on 3 charges. But speaking of red clock combos, I just forgot about the Decorated Skull. I've stabbed at least 1 Fanatic and 1 Stubborn Detective to death on Jenny, like personally. I'm going to put 2 charges on that. I probably missed more. And as my last action, I'm going to play the red clock. Oh, what do I mean the last action? I played Leo DeLuca, and I have the black fan. I have 5 actions. I'm going to move once towards Lily, because I don't have any reason to be down here. And now I'm going to take the upkeep phase. I did play action, so I'm fine. And I don't quite have to discard there. On a Lily, don't have to discard either. Top of the round, 6 of 8 Doom, or 6 of 7 rather. On Jenny's side, we have the other spawn of a Lily. It's going to be a bit of a hassle trying to stab it to death, so we're probably just going to evade it. And on Lily's side, more hidden cards. So now she's double possessed. This time, she has to deal 2 damage to an investigator at her location to get rid of it. Lily did not perform a draw action during her turn, so she will be taking 1/1 direct damage when the round ends as well. That is when the round ends and not begins, right? When your turn ends. Okay. So this discipline is able to recharge this turn as long as I don't take damage, which there's no reason I ever should, because there aren't really enemies to deal with. I think I'm just evading at 6-2. I can also stab at 7-4. I've got 5 actions. I probably kill it. I can use a Money Talks to brute force one of them for 2 damage. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just kill this thing. I'm going to stab at 7-4. 5-4, auto fail. I've done Curse into auto fail a surprising amount. Stabbing at 7-4. That's 2 damage. I still really want to cycle my cards and set up, so I'm going to go ahead and Money Talks this next stab. And we're going to be stabbing at a million just on auto fail. Yeah, he's dead. Our final value was 18. Seems like it's decent. And we'll draw a card. Oh, we'll have to spend a resource to play that Money Talks because of Class of Black Onyx in our hand. I don't think it really matters. I'm going to play Haste as my next action. And then I'm going to play Class of Black Onyx, the other way around rather, as my last action. However, nothing on Haste specifies that it has to be in play while I'm taking this action. So since I just played 2 cards in a row, I'm going to tap Haste, going to play another card. It's going to be Easy Mark. Draw 1, gain 2, and I've not used double, so I'm going to do it again. Over here on Lily's end, I think I'm drawing for Bandolier. These 3 cards are the only ones that are really in my hand. Brother Xavier, for more soak once the first one dies, does exist, but my hand's just kind of vacant right now. I'm going to draw a card. That didn't help anything. I'm going to draw a card. Going to draw a card. All right, Backpack will find my Bandoliers automatically because there are only 7 cards left. End of the round, we discard stuff. I don't care about Brando Gathaga. I will hold the Cyclopean Hammer just as discard fodder for that one terrifying treachery. I don't see myself needing the second Holy Rosary or this Spectral Razor. Oh, and I didn't actually click upkeep, I just started discarding. Okay, whoops. So we have to discard 1 more card, and that's going to be probably Guts. She's not going to have very much horror on her. And with 2 counter espionages, I don't need to hold Cyclopean Hammer. That's unreasonable. On Jenny's upkeep, we get Green Man Medallion. Not really interesting. Top of the round, agenda advances. Turning a corner, you nearly bump into a nurse with light brown hair and sharp features. You tell her about the violent patients and the strange things you've seen, but she doesn't listen. When you inquire about Daniel, she informs you that he's a friend of the king and that he resides in the palace. The investigators must decide, choose one. Test for head to snap out of it. Test for book to remember you've done this before. This can't be real. Or the investigator faints and awakens sometime later. Each of these will advance to Agenda 2. The 2 skill tests will have no penalty. This can't be real will take 2 horror. And the last one will place 1 doom on the agenda. So we're going to start by trying to test 6 brain with Guts for 8 on Lily. Easy game, I'll draw a card. We have more redundant soak than we could ever need. We have 10 soak that can be used on anyone at our location, which is pretty crazy. Speaking of, we didn't take damage last round. Our head will flip back over. And now we can move on to the next agenda, Agenda 2, Madness Drowns. Unfortunately, it's another lame quote. But he who must not be named gets +1 fight and cannot be defeated. If there's at least X damage on him, advance the agenda. We're not even seeing him, nothing to talk about. And his sign is gone as well. Encounter cards. Well, I'm not a big fan of discarding 4 costs of stuff that I need. I specifically won't Eldritch Sophist, it's why I've been playing cards. Speaking of, I should probably remember to put them onto the red clock. So I'm going to counter espionage this for 4. I'm going to draw a card from my own deck instead. Oof. Alright, he doesn't spawn with you though. This is a card that I really like, but that sort of falls apart when you power game. 6/4 is a really threatening stat line. It's hard for most people to kill a 6 attack enemy, and 4 health is quite a lot. He spawns in the center at the Palace of the King, and the High Priest is a hunter. But you'll notice he doesn't deal damage, because he has the forced effect that when he attacks you, if you have a copy of Possession in your hand, reveal it, the High Priest welcomes you into the Grand Company of the King, you are eliminated and driven insane. So, yeah, Lily's not a fan of this guy. But you know who is? Jenny. See, there's nothing on his card saying that he can't or won't engage with an investigator that doesn't have those treachery cards. And Prey doesn't mean that he won't engage with you. That's not what it does. So if Jenny were to engage with the High Priest and never disengage with him, then every time she does anything, he'll attack her and do no damage. It doesn't matter. If it hit for any amount of damage, the High Priest would be a really awesome thematic card that scared the shit out of me. But because he doesn't, what actually is going to happen is Jenny's going to walk up to him. He's going to follow her around playing the flute every time she does anything for the rest of the scenario. It's really, really funny, but definitely not what's supposed to happen when this card spawns. It needs to be massive or have or deal damage or horror. It needs to do something to do the effect it's supposed to. Because I'm going to be ignoring the shit out of this guy. It's just going to be really funny. All right, the round starts, the red clock activates, and we have 3 free movement actions this turn. I'm going to use all of them to go here and then to the middle, engage with this man, and then pop back out. Actually, I'll stay in the middle. No, I won't. Yeah, I will. I'll stay in the middle. And I think we're basically fully set up at this point. We can probably just start progressing the game. I'm not going to be using my 3rd move action. I don't need it. But I will play as my first action the Eldritch Sophist. And of course, this man will attack me, which does nothing but be hilarious. I'll be doing that every action for the rest of time. I've got this black market in hand, but I've only got 3 cards in my deck, so I really don't want to play it this round. I think what I'm going to do is play Deep Knowledge. Whoops, wrong thing. And draw my whole deck. Which draws my weakness, of course. I'm going to not tap Well Connected, because I don't have a Well Connected to tap. I'm going to Money Talks this, because I don't want to die to straight damage. It's a real possibility. Cool. That draws a card, which cycles my deck. Next, I'm going to play Well Connected. I've got too many assets in this deck, man. There's just too much going on. Eos never does anything that needs to be tapped for, so I'll move it off the board. And the same logic will apply to and for the same logic, I'm going to move the Eldritch Sophist onto the board and the Decorated Skull off of it. I don't know if I paid for the Well Connected and I have more money than God, so I'll just make sure I did. And I'm going to investigate twice with my last actions. I'm investigating at 6 to 1, Tablet is a pass, and -2 is a pass. I get both of these clues, but that brings us up to a total of 4, so we immediately spend them and advance to the next act. A shadow creeps along the wall beside you, and your heart leaps into your throat. You turn and a figure flits away just out of sight. Then your mind is playing tricks on you or someone else in the theater. You follow the direction of the shadow, rounding a nearby corner. At the far end of the wall, he stands awaiting you, the man who wears the pallid mask, the stranger whose steps you have haunted for so many weeks. You remember that you have been here before. The theater dissolves around you. The bright glare of 2 suns pierce into your eyes from above. Do you remember now? He asks. He turns and vanishes into the aether, as if taunting you to follow. Spawn to set aside the man in the pallid mask at the Palace of the King. Act 2, Search for the Stranger, version 3. I don't know if I mentioned this at the start. The version of Act 2 you get is dependent on how much doubt and conviction you have. Obviously, we have the conviction version. Search for the Stranger, version 3. It's time to finally confront the stranger and learn the truth about his identity once and for all. Each investigator cannot discover clues. The man in the pallid mask cannot be damaged, or defeated rather, except by damage. When he would be defeated, advance. And for Lily's turn, she does not have anything pressuring her at the moment. I'll take 1 damage and heal 1 horror, as always. This discipline, Alignment of Spirit, is absolutely ridiculous. I've never gotten to see how good the healing was until this scenario. Next action, I'm going to play Backpack for 1, and search the top 12, which is my whole deck, for a Bandolier. Specifically Bandolier, there are other cards. There's a Survival Knife, and that's kind of it. But if I got the Survival Knife, it wouldn't be playable because I would play Bandolier to hold it, killing the Backpack, and getting rid of the Survival Knife. So I just get the Bandolier. Then I immediately toss the Backpack and put on the Bandolier instead. Bandolier gives me additional head, so now I'm swinging at 12. And that's it. Just more and more setup happening all the time. Upkeep phase. We will flip our Foot Discipline. And upkeep over here, Stubborn Detective. Also, we were once again invited to the Grand Company. We said no. Top of the round, 1 of 7 Doom, and Evil cards. We have another card in our hand. This one requires us to take resource actions, which, I mean, eventually it'll trigger. And over here, we get the sign again. I guess we put it on the act. It's probably going to advance sometime relatively soon. Going to go first on Lily, I think. Oh no, I can't flip over my balance of body if I don't kill the stupid High Priest. That's really funny. On Lily's turn, I'm going to spend 2 actions playing Safeguard, or 1 action rather. And then I think I'm going to spend 2 actions getting resources to play Survival Knives in the future. And then I'm just going to sit here and let these tick back over so that Lily is fully functional. I feel like I'm under no time pressure at all right now. Now, I planned what ideally to be as Jenny Barnes, go pick her up, but, yeah. Doing that would stop her foot discipline from flipping back over, and I don't know if I want that. Coming over to Jenny's turn, her turn starts with the red clock finally coming online. We put in our 2 new actions, and from here on out, every turn we're immediately using the Eldritch Sophist and dropping the resource from the red clock onto the decorated skull. Jenny is officially fully online. Also, do I want to use Black Market this turn? I did. I forgot to do it, but I did want to do it. Well, let's imagine I did it on time, because it's only bad for me to do it late. We get the other Black Market, Hot Streaks. I'm going to play the Black Market for sure. Drawing the Sign is no longer in my deck, which is great to see. If I hit Sacrificial Beast, I can cycle it this turn. I do. Hot damn. So since the 3 weaknesses I'm afraid of are all out of the deck, I can just draw the rest of my cards this round if I want to, and cycle the deck. I'm going to stab the High Priest. I don't need to kill him, but he is slightly intrusive to Lily, and I would like Lily's ability to come back online after she uses it. So I am going to kill this man. I'm going to stab him using Money Talks level 2. And I'm testing at 1,000,000. I'm testing at skill 18 here. Yeah, he takes 2 damage. Then I'm going to test again using Well Connected. I'm testing this one at 15 or something like that. He's dead. Get out of here. And I'm going to use Haste to stab at 7 to 3 against the Stubborn Detective. 5 to 3, that's 2 damage. Get him out of here. Remember, she's the Clover. There's only 1 damage card in the deck. I'm going to play Ace in the Hole now to gain 3 actions. Just drop one over here and delete it after I'm done with it. And the reason I'm doing that is so that it'll cycle into my deck in a second. I'm going to play Easy Mark as my first action. Get rid of that temporary action. Gain 2 resources, draw a card. As reaction, I'm going to play Easy Mark for free. Gain 2 resources, draw a card. I got lucky, hit the other Easy Mark. Same thing as the last time. This turn's never going to end, is it? Jesus. I'm going to play Emergency Cash and double it to gain 6 resources and draw 2 cards. So this is the awkward thing, is that I do need to pick up Lily before I kill the man in the Paladin mask. So I'm going to go do that. I spend 3 actions walking over to Lily, and then I drag her back with the next 3 actions. Oh, apparently I never actually played a card to cycle my deck. I know I doubled this, but I'm not going to spend all my actions walking back because I do need to cycle my deck. I draw 1 card as an action. That's ridiculous. Why would I do that? I play Emergency Cash as an action. Ace in the Hole is a pretty good draw. It is limited to once per round thanks to Taboo, so I can't literally snap the game in half, but I mean, it's pretty damn close what I'm doing. Also, I take 1 Horror when I shuffle my deck. I'm going to be giving that to Tetsuya. Actually, Brother Xavier's the objectively better choice. And that's the end of our round. No enemies are alive. And I do think they'll be sticking together for the rest of the scenario, so I'm going to go ahead and attach them at the hip. So, upkeep phase. Gonna have to discard some cards over here. I definitely want to hold Black Markets, Counter Espionage, Money Talks, and Intel Reports. Which means that, like, it's pretty obvious that Ace in the Hole is getting held and not the other stuff, right? Not really a decision point. Mostly I'm just organizing my hand while talking out loud. There's no way I ever don't discard these 2 cards. Second Survival Knife here is nice. I might spend 1 more turn setting up. Like, I don't need 2 Survival Knives in play, but I want it. Oh, end of the round before we do Mythos phase, though. Lily was never with an enemy, and she didn't take damage. 2 of 7 Doom, evil cards. I'm testing this at 5 by default. I don't want to take Horror, but losing resources or difficulty on a skill test doesn't matter at all. Basically, I'm only afraid of -5 auto fail and Curse Cascade. There's nothing else I need my Well Connected for. Yeah, get out of here. The Winged One spawns in Bleak Plains, which is the bottom location, or the lower location, rather. It has Retaliate, but not Hunter, so I'll be staying here as a 3/3/4. It hits like a truck at 3 health damage and 1 Horror. After a location is flipped, if Winged One is ready and unengaged, move it once toward that location. That is not even going to be close to a problem. This is going to get crushed. Start of the investigation phase. This is going to go back in my deck. and I don't want these cards, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and leave them in my deck, or rather, put them back in my deck before I play a black market, if I play a black market. I don't need to do this. I don't need to play the Survival Knives. But damn it, they're only in my deck for this scenario. I'm playing the Survival Knives. I gain a resource and spend 2 actions playing Survival Knife. Like, I've been going on and on about how important it is to set up. Let's actually set up. Let's get fully equipped. More assets than God. This is obscene. I'm going to move over. By the way, start of my turn, the red clock generates a 3rd resource, and then we immediately use Eldritch Sophist to move it to the Decorated Skull. And it is entirely within my ability to kill the man in the Pallid Mask right now. But I don't want to. Also, I probably should be using my counter-espionages on these to prevent the direct horror and damage that they cause. I wasn't really thinking about that as an option before. Oh well. As long as I play a card and gain a resource, I'm fine. That's sort of like what this entire deck is about doing as well, so... yeah. I think I progressed the act now. It seems so comically inefficient not to. I'm not actually great at stabbing the man in the Pallid Mask to death, but I'll give it a shot. I engage with the man in the Pallid Mask and I start stabbing. Skull is -2, I hit him for 1. Stab again, -2. Hasted stab. And that's the kill. So, he would be defeated, but he's not. We're progressing the act. The disguise is laid aside. Spawn the set-aside Lord of Carcosa enemy at the man in the Pallid Mask location. Remove the man in the Pallid Mask from the game. So, this is the big man himself, the Lord of Carcosa. 3/27/3, Ancient One Elite. Prey, most remaining sanity. Hunter, massive. If his attacks deal you horror in excess of your sanity, you take 1 damage as well. While he is being attacked or evaded by an investigator with no remaining sanity, treats stars, +1s, 0s, or -1s as auto fails. So yeah, not a fan of that. However, let's read the next act as well. Act 3A, The King in Tatters. Again, it's just a quote. But as a lightning bolt, we now have the ability to, if there are no clues on our location, remove each investigator's clues from the game, flip your location over, and resolve the text on the other side. Objective, defeat the king in yellow. As a reminder, we literally can't kill him, because you might be like, 27 damage, just beat the shit out of him. You got a hammer. But, I kinda can't. Literally not allowed to kill him. And also, every time we deal damage to him, we're pushing the agenda further and further ahead. However, he does only have 3 foot, and I have remaining sanity, so I'm testing at 6, 7, I think? I'm testing at 6 to 3 on evade checks against him. Does he have retaliate? No, of course not. That'd be too mean. I guess I'm taking a horror. I will throw that horror onto Brother Xavier, as always. Going to evade again, and this time we successfully evade him. As my next action, I'm going to double. Actually, unfortunately, I think it's time that Jenny and Lily stop being attached at the hip, and they split and go separate ways. Because Lily can just stay here and beat the shit out of the Lord of Carcosa. That's fully within her abilities. As Jenny, however, I'm going to head left, and I'm going to double an intel report. Play 1 of them for 4, and 1 of them for 6. As my last action, I get both clues from Dim Streets, and both clues from Ruins of Carcosa as well. And having clues does nothing for me, so I'll just be deleting clues when I get them, because I'll be removing them anyway when I use this Lightning Bolt ability on locations without clues. And I actually have incentive, since I know what these locations do sort of broadly. I've played this several times before, to not reflip this right now. I'll be doing it at the start of next turn. Also, the Winged One is a great incentive to not do that. So, upkeep phase, stand together level 2, or level 3 rather, showing up far too late to matter, and the big man readies. 3 of 7 Doom, evil cards. So the way the Winged One spawns in the Bleak Plains, the creature out of Dim is going to spawn in the Depths of Dim. He is massive, and when a creature out of Dim's location or a connecting location is flipped, if it's ready, it will attack each investigator at the location. 5/4/2, fairly large enemy. And the evil card for Lily is the King's Edict, but I don't think there's actually a cultist alive. We're sort of at a higher scale than that right now. So it gains Surge. I do have remaining Sanity. Doesn't do anything. So instead, we're going to get Painful Reflection, which does all of nothing. I don't really care about events. Do I stab the creature to death? Probably. It's not pretty. Yeah, I'm going to move up to here. That's my first action. The red clock is going to go up the 3 charges, then we're going to tap Sophist to move it over. And we're going to engage with this thing and try to kill it, probably. So first action, stab with well connected. Yeah, just don't auto-fail. That's really all that matters. So we've dealt 2 damage to this thing now. Need to deal 2 more, right? Yeah. I would just kill the creature out of Dim with Money Talks, but I actually can't play fast cards here, which Money Talks is. So I'm just going to be stabbing it normally. -2 hits for 1. I tap Haste. Auto-fail. I need -2 or less, and that's it. He's dead. It's not an efficient kill, but I mean, hey, I've still got 3 actions left. That's a whole turn for most people. I'm going to move up to the top as my next action and investigate twice. At 3, 6 to 3. -2 gets 1 clue. Skull gets another one. And Lola will get the 3rd one for 3 resources. However, just because I'm out of actions doesn't mean my turn is over. I don't know why I bothered putting these in front of me. They're going to go array immediately. I play Ace in the hole to get 3 actions back. Sadly, I can't double it. That shit is too broken. And I'm going to Lightning Bolt this location and flip it over. The Fall. A woman stands atop a tall balcony, her yellow dress tattered and stained. You call out to her, but she doesn't respond to anything you say. Then, you suddenly remember a scene from The King in Yellow in which a woman plunges herself into the streets below. Are you seeing the past, the future? So I either can't bring myself to do it and just flip the card over, or realizing what must be done, I step forward and push her, taking 2 horror and dealing 4 damage to him. Flip this card back over. For the remainder of the game, it cannot be flipped over again. I'm going to be honest. Like, I guess I'll do it. I can just put the horror on my allies, put both of them on the Eldritch Sophist. But I don't really feel like I need to do this. I think Lily's got it. Anyway, we're up to 4 damage now. When we do that, the winged one's going to activate and move 1 location towards us, and we're going to move down with our next action. And then we're going to investigate at 6 to 4 twice. Curse means we're going to fail. We're going to investigate at 6 to 4, and this time we get one of the clues. Don't know why I keep bothering to put them in front of me. It's Lily's turn, and yeah, there's no point sandbagging anymore, so we're just going to beat the shit out of him. I'm going to be swinging at 12 to 3. I mean, hell. We finally get to use Discipline Balance of Body. I activate this. I swing my hammer at 12 to 3, my Brand of Cthulhu, and a Survival Knife. So first one, hammer, 12 to 3. -3 is hitting him. I'm going to bring this down and scale it up. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. So we hit him for 3 with the hammer, bringing us to 7. Then we attack with the Brand of Cthulhu. I'm going to use head instead of fist because my head is higher at 6. And I get +2 to the skill value, so I'm attacking at 8. -3 is a hit. When I choose to spend 1, 2, or 3 charges to deal that much damage, I'm going to deal 3 damage. Bringing us to 10 damage. Next, we're going to stab him with our Survival Knife, which isn't even really worth doing, but 7 to 3. We hit. We deal 11 damage, or 1 more damage, bringing him to 11. And also, we just broke 10, so let's advance the agenda. Oh, that is our final guest, the doorman announces. Miss Devine, your presence here has been long awaited. The creature slithers up the side of the palace. You swear you've seen the symbol on her amulet before. Wait, that can't be right. Well, now the real party can begin, it roars. Spawn the set-aside Beast of Audubon enemy at the Palace of the King. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. This all actually still feels completely under control to me. Maybe it shouldn't, but it does. I swing twice at Beast of Audubon. First one at 12 to 3 deals 3. Second one deals 3 as well. So it has 1 health left. Enemy phase. Beast of Aldebaran tries to attack me. I use my survival knife and stab it instead at 7-3 and kill it. The Lord of Carcosa tries to attack me. I use my other survival knife and stab him at 7-3. And I flip this back over, dear Lord. So he's at 13 now. And then he does actually hit me, which I'm going to use to kill Brother Xavier. Put 1 horror on Tetsuo, and Brother Xavier's death deals 2 damage as well, putting him to 15. And now it is upkeep phase. I don't know what cards we could draw that would ever matter at this point. I guess Counter Espionage is one of them. I think I toss an easy mark. Top of the round, 1 of 7 Doom, and evil cards. I do have hidden cards. Should they have went off? I'm definitely playing stuff and gaining resources, I think. I don't think they've went off. But either way, I'm gaining a horror. And it has Surge, so I get the Spawn of Ali as well. Over here, we have Test 3 Brain for each point you fail by. I don't have Guts. I don't really feel like I need to Promise of Power this. I just take it at 6, and I'm fine if I fail. Yeah. I'm gonna fail by 1. And take -2 to my next skill check this round as a reminder. Speaking of, I should have tested this. Oh no, I'm thinking of the other one. And it's our turns. I'm going to evade this enemy at 6-2 base. I'm not going to bother adding anything to it. +1, get out of here. Then I'm going to investigate at 6-4 base, not adding anything to it. Easy game. Don't know why I'm bothering to pick it up, because I'm immediately using the lightning bolt and getting rid of this. The height of the depths. Nothing in this realm seems to make sense. The stairs before you both ascend and descend. The cloudy depths sink and rise and sway and yet remain still. You are floating in a cloud wisp of mist and swimming under the sunken waves. The stairs are just a part of your imagination. You decide to jump. Each investigator heals 5 horror. Remove this card from the game and replace it with another set-aside copy of depths. Everything here stays the same, and add clues to it equal to its clue value. So we're done with this one. Get a new one. Also, that triggers the winged one. It flies over. I'm going to be evading this in a second, but let's just heal all of the horror off of Jenny real quick. And now that Jenny is at 0 horror on her, it seems very obvious what a foregone conclusion this might be. Let's evade the winged one. We'll be using our well-connected for this, I believe. We are up 2, and we had a lot of actions. I don't need to do it. But I want to get out of here this turn. I can just stab this thing to death. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stab twice at 7-3. -3 is 1 damage. And -1 is 2 damage. Get him out of here. And I think I just get these 2 clues normally. I can double an intel report. That's just better. Yep, I'm going to play an intel report with double for 1 action. 4 resources on the first one and 6 on the second one. I'm going to get both clues from down here with the second intel report and both clues from the depths with the first one. We're going to flip the depths again. Steps of the Palace. You come across a set of steps that look similar to the grand staircase of the palace from Act 1, Scene 4 of The King in Yellow. Very same stairs Casilda nearly fell down when she fainted upon seeing the stranger for the very first time. Shattering your reverie is the sound of a woman's gasp. When you look up, you see Casilda at the top of the steps, her expression shocked upon seeing your face. You rush up the staircase and catch her as she falls, wrapping your arms around her body. She dissolves into cloudy mist around you. Deal 2 damage to didn't say it. Exhaust him and disengage him from all investigators. Flip this card back over, it cannot be flipped again. So, we're up to 17, he's also not hitting us this round. Last action, I leave, I just don't want to have to deal with that thing. But as a lightning bolt, I can flip dim streets. Mapping the streets. You find yourself easily lost within the city's narrow, twisting streets. Routes should lead back to familiar places, lead instead to new parts of the city, and retracing your steps is impossible. Perhaps objects here do not exist in 3 dimensions like they do on Earth. Conventional maps cannot possibly begin to depict the complexity of Carcosa's design. You explore the streets carefully and begin to puzzle out a shocking map of the city. Test 3 book for each point you fail by, take 1 horror, deal 2 damage to him regardless of whether you succeed or fail. And I can't flip it again. I'm just testing book. I haven't used well connected yet, so I'll be using that and testing at 1,000,000. He takes 2, I take nothing. And that is another location finished. So we've done half the map, and it doesn't look like we'll need the second half. Oh! I calculated his health for 3-player and said 27 because I'm used to playing for 3-player recently. He's only got 18. Well, we're not allowed to reduce him below, what is it? 4? So, we did kill him already. Let's go back to 14 where the rules stop us from progressing further. Whoops. This poor ancient one. What did he do to deserve this? Dude, I don't care, I'll say it. Fucking poor Hastur. Hastur did nothing wrong. He doesn't deserve this. I'll take the horror. This poor guy. Anyway, we can flip this over now on Lily's turn. You stand before the palace of the king. His incessant whispering fills your mind, and you find it difficult to block his poisonous words from your thoughts. Seeing the palace in all its spectacle and glory, you realize its true nature. You know now what you must do. The doors to the palace open. Depending on the version we have, I believe we have the Tattered King. No, we have Lord of Carcosa. We're going to put the throne room into play and move him into the throne room. He cannot leave the throne room, cannot be exhausted, and cannot make attacks of opportunity. So, it also only connects to the Palace of the King, I believe. Yes. I'm not sure what happened to this connection marker. I must have deleted it at some point by accident or knocked it off the map, but these do connect. Anyway, the only way into the throne room is through the palace. And looking at this, I think cannot be exhausted means the verb of exhausting him, but it could also mean the state of exhausted, which he is and now no longer is. And we need to flip this location to discover the secret and actually kill him, which is a slight problem as he is here. Since he can't leave, though, my turn doesn't matter anymore. I play Stand Together to draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources. And then I gain a resource and I play another Brother Xavier. Because I'm not just going to go in there and get slapped by him for no reason. Enemy phase, he hangs out. He's not allowed to leave. Upkeep phase, the spawn of Hali readies. Draw our cards. Top of the round, 2 of 9 Doom, and evil cards. We're testing 3 brain. I'll just money talks this, it seems. Draw a card and test at 1,000,000. Get out of here. Pretty sure this is the last turn of the game. I did not do resource actions last turn, that's definitely true. I definitely did do play actions though. And over here we have another evil card. This one requires you to move. I guess since I'm winning so hard, I should make sure to get the possessions out of my hand for story reasons. When the round starts, I'm going to play 2 copies of Black Market and put my entire deck onto the board. We have a deep knowledge, several weaknesses that nobody wants, money talks, easy mark, and hot streaks. This thing you can do with Black Market is not something I was really aware of, but it's so broken. Like, holy shit, the ability to just manipulate your deck like this is crazy. Anyway, we're going to stall out for a round. Here's what I'm going to do. I've just realized that I forgot to test this on Stand Together, but the game state's progressed too much to really test it for that and change things retroactively. I'll test it twice for easy mark. And it will fail the easy mark, unfortunately, and deal me 1 horror, which I will put on Brother Xavier. The reason this was on the board is because I had started to discard it and then realized that I was cheating. Now how do I get my resources? I play Stand Together. I gain 2 cards, draw 2 resources. I draw 2 cards and I gain 2 resources, rather. And then I use my last action to play the Hot Streak to gain the resources I'll need to get rid of this next turn. Ginny's going to come in. We don't want a deck full of nothing but weaknesses, so we need to cycle our deck this turn. I'll double a Hot Streak for $1 million because I'm starting to run out. We were at 34, so we go up to 48. I'm going to use the Decorated Skull twice for all of its charges to gain 6 resources and draw 4 cards. Or 6 cards, rather. So 1 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that is correct. And I take 1 horror, which I'm going to be putting onto Tetsuo. Nope, Xavier. I'd rather not kill Tetsuo for no reason. I'm going to play and duplicate these easy marks, or not duplicate, but just use all of them, for another 6 resources and 3 cards. I'm looking for my second intel report, which I am not finding. And I am stalling. I'm waiting to go in there because I'm just trying to get rid of these possessions. Well, I'm going to play an emergency cache looking for that intel report and fail to find it. And I guess I have no reason not to deep knowledge looking for it, do I? Just cycle my deck twice in one turn, it's fine. I didn't need that thing. Oh, that was my last action on the deep knowledge, but there's an ace in the hole in my deck, so I play that and get 3 actions back. I forgot about this. I'll spend 2 of those actions and 8 resources playing 2 copies of deep knowledge. Bring me down to 55 resources. I'm bankrupt and taking all these clues out of the throne room without even entering it. And, yeah, I'm not so sure anything else really matters. I'm gonna play Hot Streak to gain 8 resources, 7 rather, and end my turn. Enemies do nothing, upkeep phase. I need to discard cards, money is worthless to me. I guess I'll hold the Green Medallion, it's technically better. Upkeep phase here. Don't need the Rosary, don't need the Spectral Razors. Don't need the Sixth Sense, don't need the Brand of Gothaga. There we go, finally done. Top of the round, 3 of 9 Doom, enemy cards. I have remaining sanity, so it just has Surge. Comes into my hand. I'm currently dealing with drawing and playing, not that it really matters. Okay, I think we get to end the game this turn. We should, I think. I'm gonna go first as Jenny. Did I really just draw 2 evil cards? Or 2 heading cards? I'm not convinced this hasn't been in my hand for many, many turns. I'm just going to pretend this is not what I drew and take 1/1. And Melancholy is in play now, so nothing changes. I just want to make absolutely sure that I wasn't forgetting my evil cards on what is probably the last turn of the campaign. I'm going to go first as Jenny and walk into the throne room. And now that we're here, I'm going to flip this location as I have, well, done all the things. The entity. The king and the throne are one and the same. It is his seat of power and his final resting place. Remember that you know the secret. Flip this card back over. For the remainder of the game, it cannot be flipped over again. So now we know the secret, and nothing is stopping us from killing this man, which is unfortunate for him. We're going to spend our first action stabbing him, and when we do... Oh, we actually don't have the one I thought we did. That's alright, we're just going to spend an action stabbing him then. And once we've dealt 2 damage to him, we're going to stop. We're stabbing at 7 to 3. I take 2 horror. I'm going to kill Tetsuo and Xavier with that horror. And that deals the 2 damage I was looking for. And then I'm just going to, like, pass my turn. I'm going to gain resources or something. He doesn't make attacks of opportunity anymore. And I'm going to let Lily go. Lily is going to deal 2 damage to an investigator at her location to get rid of this as her first action. Sorry about that, Jenny. As her next action, she's going to spend 5 resources to get rid of the other possession. And then she's going to activate her foot discipline and swing 3 times. Cyclopean Hammer first. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing all campaign to finish it off. 12 against 3. That's 18 damage. That's 9 times 2. Hastur is dead. Take 1 horror. He has been defeated. Advance. A chorus of cries echoes throughout your mind. Chaotic organ chords torture your ears. You fall to your knees and blood drips from your eyes. The realm of Carcosa shatters into millions of pieces and fades into the empty void of space. Curtains fall. And since we defeated the Lord of Carcosa, we get Resolution 3. As always with the results of a finale, nothing in here really matters. The campaign is over. You care about the story, but all of these things you record, the investigators win, gain victory, suffer trauma, none of that matters. However, in your campaign log, record the names of each investigator who ended the game with at least 1 copy of the Possession Treachery in his or her hands. Which is nobody, because I made sure to get rid of them. Because technically, if you win with possession still in your hands, somebody has to read the epilogue, which you only read if you won, and then only the investigators who were possessed read it out loud. I haven't been reading the story in these. If people really wanted me to, I could be convinced to do it. But so far, only really 1 person has been outspoken about it, and it would add so much time to making these videos. Like, probably at least 30 minutes to every single video on my end, probably more. And it's also time that the videos take up longer for people to watch. So I'm not really committed to one way or the other. I understand why people might want it, and I understand why people might not, especially why I don't. But I'm talking about that now because, well, this is entirely in flavor text. If you don't get rid of the possession, nothing bad happens in terms of mechanics, but you do have to read the epilogue where you start putting on the play the king in yellow, and you perpetuate the events of this story. But that's not the ending we'll get. No one was possessed, so from our perspective, everyone wakes up on Mont St. Michael. The captain comes back and he takes us home. We won. We stop Hastur from being released. Take one horror. This video is already a bit long, so I think I'll be wrapping up here. And in the next couple videos, I'll post like reviews and analysis of Jenny and Lily, and especially Return to Carcosa. I will say this. Lily's really good. Like, she's absolutely incredible what she's doing. Jenny's the reason that, like, this is a shit show where nothing matters. There's 6 Doom left on the clock. I'm not even really pushing myself to get clues super fast on Jenny. You shouldn't have 7 action turns. Money should be an obstacle for you, even if you're playing a big money deck. 100 experience is out of hand. I've never used my gold pocket watch. I have so many assets, I just fucking forgot about it. Oh no. Oh, that's so funny. I'm sure someone noticed that and was screaming internally. But yeah, the Jenny deck is ridiculous. I've never had a character with 8 permanents, or where I consistently ran out of space this badly on assets, and I'm a guy who always runs charismas. But this is silly. Every slot is filled up. I have all the extra slots as well. Lily is very, very good. Jenny is more complicated than that, and I'll get into that in the video on her. But just try to remember, as broken as this scenario was, Curtain Call didn't look like this sort of walkover. Neither did the Last King. Jenny Barnes got through those scenarios relatively easily, but it was not a stomp at all the way this endgame has been. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to start analyzing this instead of doing it in separate videos if I keep talking. So I'm going to stop it here. I've been rather incoherent. I hope you enjoyed the path to Carcosa, and I have no idea what I'm doing next just yet, but I'll see you then.